Hey guys, welcome to this recap of the Real Housewives of New Jersey, episode 4, Housewarming History Lesson. I felt like the title itself for this episode doesn't do justice for this episode. I think it would have been better if they continued to play on with the love bubble theme, love bubble party. Call it maybe love bubble housewarming party. I think that just comes off the tongue, not housewarming history lesson. I don't know why they came up with that as a title. What's the history lesson about it? Well, where we last left off, the boys, they came from their boys' night, date night, having drinks, initiation party, blah, 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 blah. So they go back home and all the ladies are in their home trying to get the information. What happened? Because they had the whole cameras and everything filming just the guys and only the guys. So, of course, the ladies want to be up to date on what happened in guys' night. So all the ladies want to know, all the guys came back home fine. So the ladies want to know what's going on. The guys come back home and they said what a great time they have. Most of the guys are drunk. They came back home drunk, except for Danielle's husband, who thought that was such a lightweight party. And of course, Fuda, our guy Fuda, he was the one who drank the most out of the whole crew, and he looked a little bit tipsy, but man, these guys know how to hold down their liquor. So we get to Teresa's home, and Louis, he tells Teresa, what happened in guys' night. Remember, guys, Louis and Joey got into it at guys' night. So I was like, oh my God, you can say the smallest thing to Teresa, and it's like a volcano exploding. So I'm like, okay, Louis, tell this to her, communicate this to her, so she doesn't go off the wall and, more drama happens in that family that separates the relationship between Teresa and Joe. So Louis tells Teresa what went down in guys' night. And, her first initial response is to apologize to Louis for this circus. And I thought, wow, that's very considerate, because it's not Teresa thinking about herself, more as the role of her new partner coming into her chaotic family. She knows her family comes with a lot, and she wants to protect, of course, her love bubble. So Louis is everything to her, so she wants to protect, her everything. So she apologized to Louis about the situation, and we get a jump scene to Melissa and Joe, and they're at the construction site of their home that they're building. And it's interesting enough, they go and walk through the construction site, and we know what the home looks like now. And people on TikTok, on social media, period, had so much to say about Melissa's home. I would not be surprised if Melissa put this home back for sale, to go back to the drawing board to construct a proper home. Funny enough, she mentions about, Joe, you won't believe, or I'm excited to show you what chandeliers I picked out for this space. And we saw the chandeliers on social media. It's like this, it was very gaudy, very, not traditional chandelier, but I wouldn't say it was something to be excited for, or something I would expect to be in the space of a home for a family. It's pretty out there. And, guess what? After all the feedback, I would assume she switched it because of the feedback she was receiving about it, all the critiques about her home. So the chandeliers that she picked out was switched and swapped out. So, the power of social media. My goodness. What did you guys think of the home? I've seen the pictures, and when people call and point things out, it's like you can not see it. So I'm like, man, I don't know how long she's going to stay in this home. She doesn't really stay in homes long. She's always switching and trying to build bigger and better. But, it's never going to be home if the family is not all together and enjoying this space for themselves and not because of what others have to say. So I would like Melissa, to really take in and love the space that it's in. And we'll see how long it takes for it to end up back on the market, for her to sell it and build a new one. Oh, well, we'll see. So, beyond, aside from that, they brought up what happened at guys night, and they mentioned what they said about the podcast. And Melissa, she wants to defend her statement and say that they did help put food on the table. No, Joe, what could he have done for work at the time? Teresa's in jail, and a source of income was coming from the show. But to get paid from being on the show, people have to want to film with you. And, since they were considering getting rid of most of the cast except Melissa, Melissa stepped forward to actually film scenes with Joe Giudice, and in essence putting food on the table, and she doesn't find that to be so outrageous. In my opinion, I feel like some things are better left unsaid. I feel like when you're supporting family, it doesn't require you to mention the ways that you support the family. Of course you want credit where credit is due, but don't use it in a way to say, oh, you needed me and I was the only way that your family was gonna get fed. That's heartbreaking. The situation itself is already heartbreaking. These girls were young when Teresa left to go to jail, and you can't ever replace a mother. So for you to say that you help out the family, yes, that is true, but would you have not? Like, if the cameras were not there, would you not have come around? Like, I don't see what's the merit in saying that, as if, this is something like that Teresa has to get on her knees and give praise to Melissa. Teresa can be appreciative, but she shouldn't be shocked. That shouldn't be a behavior that's shocking to her. Of course, family should step up for family, and that's on period. Okay. We then get a scene back to Teresa, and Teresa's explaining how embarrassed she was of Joey's behavior and saying that, this is not appropriate, it's not okay. And Louis is telling these things to Teresa, what happened at the guys' night, and it's kind of hyping up Teresa, and she's becoming more mad and more upset. But yeah, she shouldn't not know the truth. She should know what's going on, and especially if her partner was involved in a situation with her brother. But it's becoming tick for tack. She was insulted that Joey even brought up to Louis, oh, why didn't they invite Melissa's mother-in-law and family? And Teresa, she shoots back and say, well, Melissa and Joey didn't invite Louis' family to Antonia's Sweet 16. And it's just like, that's childish. Like, you can invite who you want to invite to your event. Of course, you're funding it. You're doing the budget for it. You're organizing it. It's your event. You should want who you want to be there. It would be a nice gesture to invite the family, of course. But if you're not at that place to do so, you don't want to be fake about it. So you want to skip the pleasantries. Like, even Melissa says she's done being fake. So why that courtesy cannot be put onto Teresa to not feel fake, to invite people that she necessarily do not want to be there? She could feel some type of way. And maybe understanding why she feels that way, then you can get to a point where you guys can be on the same page. In Melissa's perspective, she sees it as, her family has been nothing but supportive to Teresa. And I think you can see it as like that and it be justified. But maybe you should take a step back and let some time for cooling, for people to really reflect and think, oh, what do they want at the end of the day? Maybe they don't want you in their lives, and that should be okay. You can't force yourself onto people. So with Teresa, Joe, and Melissa, and Louis, because Louis not in the family, they should understand and respect each other's boundaries and not go for tick for tack, because it's so sad and the solution should be so simple. But it seems like they both have a different way they want to tackle, to resolve, to bring some sort of peace to this situation. Because I'm sure they tired. I'm tired. And I'm not even in that family. I'm like, damn. Is every event going to be like this with those two? Then maybe they're best apart. Come on. And so, Louis, of course, Zen Louis, he's pushing for peace. So he has Teresa call her brother right now and invite him to the housewarming party. Because if anything, Louis wants to at least set up an opportunity to give an olive branch so we can start again. Louis doesn't seem shy of shy of not trying again and again and again to try to make way with family. So Teresa, she calls, and I'm surprised he picks up in the second, third ring. So is the effort is the chance, the hope is still there. Okay. And they talk initially, and it's dry. They're like, hello, hi, how are you? They're doing this little dance before they really get into it. And, Louis has to, help Teresa. He writes on the piece of paper for her to say, if you want to make peace. And, of course, Teresa, she's going to listen to her man. That's her love bubble. So she listens to her man and asks her brother, if you want to make peace. But the way she said it, she could have said it more lovingly. Like, it didn't have to be so dry, Put a little warmth into that, Of course, Joe, who doesn't want peace? So if he hears peace, he said, yeah, he wants to have peace, but he doesn't really want to talk about it. I think they both just want to drop it, but not really discuss it. But, the feelings are still lingering there. So it can, spark up, and they are back to hating each other another minute, So she asked him if he's coming to her housewarming party, that she wants him there. And Joey, he's like, he doesn't know. He doesn't want, to really, really go, but he's unsure. She hangs up. And, Joey and Melissa's happy that the conversation was decent and not, confrontational or a yelling match. Given what went down in guys' night, you would think Teresa would call, why you yelling and say you want to bust my man's balls? It wasn't like that, which I just thought about Louis. He did spared some details. We don't know if they showed everything, but he did spared some details. But, Joey is happy with the conversation. And, on Teresa's end, Teresa is kind of she's sad about, the situation with her brother. She doesn't like the situation at all, but she is shocked that he said I love you back on the phone call when hanging up. And I'm like, that's quite odd. I was shocked that you said I love you first, and you're shocked he said it back. I would think it would be the opposite. There's love there, guys. I guess they don't know how to be there, so it may be that it's time for them to give each other some space. I think this may need some time. So we then get to Dolores' house, and Dolores' mom, she comes through for a visit, and we get a little bit of update from Dolores' mom and her diet, because remember, she had some health issues in which she had to make a diet change if she wanted to, live a long life. And she said, I've been careful, but she had cake in the morning, and she's like, but I don't have cake all the time. That was just this morning. She had intense surgery, and, Dolores, she's gonna still be the daughter, and she's gonna, at least mention some things to her mom, but she's not gonna, overburden her mother, because you can't change habits that have been made. Just only try to, say, hey, did you do this? Hey, are you watching that? So she's she's keeping up with boundaries. Dolores is a boundaries girl. Once she knows your boundaries, she respects you. That's what I like about Dolores. Dolores is a friend that I would like to have. So we get into Paulie. Dolores asks about Paulie. And Dolores' mom asked about Polly, and Dolores pretty much says that, everyone loves Polly, everyone is good. Her son is there, by the way, too, and he's hearing all this, and he's like, yeah, he's a really good guy, and her son likes Polly, but her son also liked David too. The son likes everyone. It's not so hard to satisfy Dolores' son, because all you have to do is present nice, be nice, but maybe it's missing the understanding of other things that are necessary in a relationship aside from being nice, And the son did mention that, everyone seems to like Polly, but Polly and Dad are never seem to be in the same room together, and they have their, a little issue with one another. And, Paulie, he wants to be the man in Dolores' life. And Dolores realizes and sees that. So she's going to prioritize Paulie and her relationship with Paulie. And too bad, so sad for Frank, It's Dolores' turn to be happy. She wants to, do something for herself because she's always been about family, family, family. For, like she mentioned, 27 years. She's been maintaining good relations with Frank, even though she didn't want to, but for the sake of her kids, she did. And, she was the peacekeeper. And now it's her time to really focus on her own desires in life and her relationship with Paulie. So Mr. Paul is captured the heart of Dolores. We'll see how long that lasts because we're still watching Paulie because, he gives some subtle old school vibes, but, We then get to see date night with the Aidens. And first thing first, I love when they go on date night and they order food on food on food. We didn't get to see the food, but they order food on food on food. And, Jennifer is talking to her husband and saying how she got a party bus for her son's prom party. And, Dr. Bill Aiden, he's not too happy about that because he feels that she is spoiling the kids too much and it's going to make them have issues in the future. And the reason why Jennifer says she does this is because, the kids had a rough time. And she doesn't say that to Bill at the dinner, but in her confessionals. I don't know. I wonder if she says that to him, to his face. But she says in her confessionals that she does as much as she can for those kids, pretty much whatever they want, because she realized that they had a hard time learning about the affair and she wants to make life easier for them. And I wonder if Bill knows that and what his viewpoint is about that. So even though he has his critiques on her spoiling the kids, this sends her off to say, you take her love for granted. And whatever she says, he does the opposite. He supports the opposite. He never seems to take Jen's side. He always takes other people's side. And that's frustrating for Jen. She's obviously reaching to a breaking point that she just wants Bill to be more supportive towards her and pump her up a bit. And I can understand that as a woman, especially if your man never has your back in front of others, that it's you against the world when you just want an ally in your corner, That's understandable. That's very understandable. But how she's communicating this is not the best way to do so. It's not a good example, I would say, for your kids to observe and see as they watch the TV, the show itself. We then get a girls' lunch date with Rachel and Jen Fessler, our two newbies. Rachel, our new housewife, and Jen Fessler, our new friend of. I think she has a good opportunity to be a housewife. I would love to see her as a housewife. So Rachel and Jen Fessler, these girls, they really click, they bonded over being a pizza bagel, which is part Jewish, part Italian. So they feel like home with each other. So I love that Jen Fessler does not share her food. She's ordering her food. She's like, I want the meatballs and then I want a pizza. But Rachel is like, oh, can we share the pizza? And then she tells Rachel, no, I don't share. And it's not against you, it's just I don't share food. And I just think that's just hilarious and very real. Because, oh no, if we're ordering food, I ordered food for me. Now, if I know you would want some food, I would plan according to that and plan to order more stuff. But girl, you're not going to just eat my food. Like, who cannot relate to that? Come on. And we hear about Jen Fessler. She used to be heavier back in the day. And I like that, she obviously made changes in her life where she was more conscious of her health. But that doesn't hold her back from enjoying food, enjoying milk, as opposed to Jackie, who had similar experiences where she was quite heavy when she was younger, then made a health change, but to the most drastic in the most drastic way where she was sabotaging her body. I feel like I would love Jen Fessler and Jackie to be friends, and they can and Jackie could learn from Jen a little bit. It's good to see someone who came from being bigger to losing weight and managing weight in a way that they can still enjoy. They can still enjoy eating food. They can still enjoy being social with food. Oh, yeah, that was a nice little moment. I like Jen Fessler. So Rachel, she's being an open book, and they're talking about the mozzarella party, and Jen Fessler was saying she didn't like how Jennifer Aiden was pretty much calling Rachel out, talking about her nose, and Rachel, she doesn't mind. She doesn't mind Jen asking about her nose job. And she didn't feel any kind of way about it. She just only didn't like that when Jen was talking to her on the phone, she was putting down Dolores. And, that really bothered her because, Rachel, she has a long time history with Dolores back in her training days when she was younger. So she didn't like to be a part of that, and she's above that. I'm like, girl, you above that and you're here? Ooh, let's see how long that lasts. And Jen Fessler, she's like, yeah, this girl's interesting pretty much because she was talking down about Margaret and saying how Margaret is jealous of Jennifer. And Jen Fessler is like, this is my friend for how many years? How are you going to just think you're going to talk poorly about my friend? So they both see through Jen. They say Jen is just, either trying to bring people to her side, but they're not here for that. Rachel and Jen Fessler are not drama girlies, okay? They're not here for the drama girlies. Sorry, not sorry to Jennifer Aiden. You have to find new recruits elsewhere. So we then get to see the girls shopping for Teresa's housewarming party. We have Margaret and Dolores. They're in the shop and they're looking to see what they can get for Teresa. And pretty much Margaret, she gets into it with how the situation is unfortunate with Joey and Melissa from guys' night. They talk about what their guys have mentioned because of course Frank, he told Dolores, and Margaret, she's like upset about the situation. She feels bad about the situation for Melissa and Joey. So they call Melissa and Joey to check on them to see how they were doing. And they were not happy when they found out that Melissa's in-laws were not invited to this wedding. Like, everyone is outrageous that Melissa's in-laws were not invited to the situation, okay? Golly. I wonder if they will be in the reunion to be asked, how upset were you about not being invited to a wedding? I would let that go, knowing if I was the in-laws and I see Joe and Teresa having issues, I'm not gonna add more issues to the situation. This is where you back away from the situation and let the two resolve, but don't flame the situation. How do they not see that? The girls, they asked if Joe is going to the housewarming party, and Melissa, she wants him to go, but Joe is not interested. And, we will have to see. And this is where everyone gets on Melissa about this. And Melissa, you make yourself open to this. And I wish you will not set yourself up for this trap, because that's how they get on you every time. Let us be clear. I'm on no girly side. I'm not on Teresa's side. I'm not on Melissa's side. But please, you both keep setting yourself up for these situations where people can be critical over you. Now, Melissa, what they've been telling you all along is that, yeah, Joe can say what he want to say about a situation, but you still have to be the champion to encourage and try to make him, push him to want to, try to make things work with your sister, as Louis should try to make and put effort to make Teresa work with Joey. Like, that's what they keep being on you for, and you keep falling for it, girl. So we get to see Teresa's housewarming love bubble party, which should have been the title of this show. Housewarming love bubble party. That was cute. That was cute. And pretty much, Joe is not going. He is not ready, and he is not going. And, he doesn't want to go. So, he doesn't want to fake it, and he doesn't want to, have Teresa feel some type of way. So, good call, Joey. Joey, he texts Teresa to let her know that he can't come to the party. Now, when you send things via text, you don't know the tone, the mood, or the vibe of the message and how it's going to be received. So, of course, Teresa doesn't take it the best. So she's, sad about it. It's another milestone for her. It's another milestone that Joe is going to miss. And, you don't get that many milestones in life. And, the kids, they love Louis. They were so sad that Joey was not going to be there. They haven't seen him in 6 months, which is crazy. It's crazy, crazy, crazy. As much as you see them when they interact, they're, supposed to be, family, family, family. And so the kids are kind of a little bit upset. And, Louis, he sees that. And the kids are like, you're marrying the love of your life, the man of your dreams, and he's not gonna be there. For the kids to think so highly of Louis, come on. So Joe is really not ready, but Melissa will go to the party. So Melissa is a bit worried that this will be another thing that, of course, Teresa will hold over their heads. And it will be. Obviously, you see in the party, Teresa is not, she's being passive aggressive, even when they're not even there. Come on. So back to the party. So Teresa, when I saw the party, I thought Teresa should get into event planning or do maybe not her be the planner, but the one to get give the vision, the mood board for events, because she knows how to throw a party. No expenses were spared. That party was I want to be at that party, and that was not even a wedding or anything. That could have been a wedding, honestly. It was so over the top. And, all the girls are coming in. They're like, oh, my God, look at the event. Oh, my God. It is beautiful. I love it. I love it. And so the whole gang is here. And I'm all the girls are all kiki and everything. And I'm like, where's the drama? I know we said we don't like the drama, but where's the drama? The boys are happy. The ladies are happy. And then suddenly we get Miss Jennifer Aiden in the building, guys. And, she has a good start. She brought a very thoughtful, gorgeous gift. She brought kind of a tree of life. And it's tree of life. We call it Teresa tree. So Teresa tree. I thought that was cute. I liked it. But Margaret's ready to go. She doesn't let Jennifer Aiden off easy. She's like, oh, the gift is dumb. It's like a menorah. And I'm like, Margaret's such a hater. This is a moment that you see Margaret being a hater because the gift was actually thoughtful and nice. I did like the gift, okay? So, Margaret, she tells the girlies that Jen talked about her to her bestie, Jen Fessler. And Margaret is like, oh, no. Margaret is apparently envious of Jen. She's like, how? Over what? Being in the school line to pick up kids? I'm like, nah. She's like, that's not for her. She enjoying her childless life, having fun with her man, drinking drinks, and having fun in the showers, okay? So the girls are thinking nah, that's just silly. It's just obvious to them that, she's just trying to make herself feel better. And so we jump scene and the party is partying. Everyone's enjoying themselves. And then I forgot, Melissa is late to the party. She shows up. Of course, no Joe. I like Melissa's outfit in this scene, by the way. So Jen in the confessional. Jen is... Wait, no. But Jen is going in the confessional. She's saying all she has to say in the confessional, but she does not say anything to Melissa when she sees Melissa. So she has all the smoke for them, and I'm like, Jen, this is why they don't like you. And it's sad because we learned that the kids, they haven't seen Joe in 6 months. and vice versa. And so it's a bit awkward. It's a bit awkward. And Danielle's not too happy and she's giving her 2 cents. She can relate because she doesn't speak to her brother. And I'm like, oh, in this moment I realized we haven't had much Danielle in this episode. I'm like, Danielle, where you been at? I love her. And then also Polly and Frank, they're of course never in the same room. So Polly's only here at the party. And then Rachel, she mentions to Dolores how Frank misses their dynamic. And Dolores, her boundaries pretty much says, get over it. And she was done with it, okay? We then see Melissa. I always wondered this. We see Melissa and she talked to the girls, Gabriella and Gia. And remember, Gabriella, she learned what was going on, what Melissa had to say about saying that she put food on the table and her thoughts about the situation. And Gabriella, Melissa's talking to the girls and the girls are being polite and nice. But you can tell Gabriella sees right through Melissa. Like, right through Melissa, and it's sad. And that made Melissa kind of run and beat it, like, kick rocks. Because Gabriella saw right through Melissa. And Melissa felt very sad. And she knows that they hate them. Like, she knows the girls are not happy with them. And, Gia, she mentions, she says that, the kids suffer. Like, the kids are not hanging out with each other because the parents keep them apart. And it's just kind of sad because they haven't seen them in a long time. And they want to see the kids, too, as well. And that would have been their moment to see Joey after not seeing him for 6 months. And, it's awkward. Of course, if I was Melissa, I was going to run because that situation was really awkward. We then get a good comic relief from Danielle. And I said, this is why I love Danielle. Danielle is like looking at the food. I'm looking at the food. And she's like, she should have brought her Tupperware. I'm like, girl, I love her. The food looks good too, and these people are not touching the food. Like, the food look there's piles and piles and piles of food just laying out. And I'm like, I wonder in the Caribbean household, when there's a party, we whip out the to-go boxes, okay? So I'm always curious to see if these girls, they could have like a to-go box to take the food to go. So the next day for breakfast, you have a little, your little snacks, your little, plate of food. You don't have to cook or anything like that. So I'm curious. I'm super curious. So, Teresa, she goes and makes a speech with her man, Louis, and she's like, thank you to my chosen family in the speech. And the girls, they say, dang, this is a dig at Joey and Melissa. Like, Melissa says she's not going to let it bother her. But Margaret and Jackie was like, nah, that's not right. That's not okay. And Melissa, she plays it off, but she walks away and she goes to the bathroom and she cries a bit. And that was a bit sad to see because this is her, like, being real. Like, damn. She's really sad for her family. Like, she wants the family to come together. And, in that moment, I saw, okay, Joey, you shouldn't have left your wife to go there by herself. And this is going to just be another thing that's going to be over your head, feeling like, wow, your sister took a dig at my wife, made my wife cry. Like, this is not going to go over well. Like, this is not going to help. And so Melissa had her moment in the bathroom, but then she comes out from the bathroom and she gets with all the girls and she tells Jackie what she said to Danielle. And Jackie's like, I don't care. And she started going on about Danielle, and Danielle's like, I hear my name. Who's talking about me? And she jumps into the situation and asks her if her outfit today for this party, is it appropriate? I'm like, girl, you're not going to ask Jackie all those questions. Come on. Now you see Jackie trying to backpedal. I'm like, no. Forward pedal, not back pedal. And you see Danielle, she stands up and she does this thing with her hands in the face. And it's like the voguing of it all. I'm like, girl, Danielle, she's here to stay. She at least secure her spot for the next season. Okay, I'm here for Danielle. And Jackie is like, she's like, I'm not having it. I'm not having it. I'm not doing these gang signs. I'm not doing this. And she dismissed herself. I'm like, Jackie, you let Danielle run you out the scene. Like, you were a housewife. You let Danielle, a newbie, the new girl, run you out. Like, girl, you should have stand on what you said and let her have it. We would love to see that. I love when the arguments are so stupid like this. Nothing too serious, nothing too deep, but frivolous like that. This is what I expect housewives to do, to gossip about. Oh, did you see what she was wearing? Did you see what she had on? Did you see that she was out there? That's what we live for in Housewives, okay? So Jennifer and Aiden, she calls Jen Fessler. So interesting enough, in the conversation of it all, Jen is talking, and the girls made it clear that Jennifer Aiden has been talking about these girls behind their back, and Jennifer's like, no, I just talk to everybody. Like, I'm just talking just to talk. And she's trying to tell Margaret that she called Jen Fessler to get suggestions of a marriage counselor, and Margaret and Jackie, they look at each other and they're like, we knew something was up. And apparently, Jennifer Aiden wants to say that Jen Fessler was bad-mouthing Margaret, and this calls and summons Jen Fessler into the scene. Margaret summons Jen Fessler into the scene. And then next Rachel, she calls out Jen. She's like, no. Because, Rachel and Jen Fessler, they besties now. They ride for each other, okay? They have each other's back. I love to see it. And she's like, oh, no, Jen, you were, like, talking about Dolores. And Dolores is like, why am I in it? Dolores, her face. I'm like, don't rile up Dolores. Like, I don't want these girls to lay flat on the ground because they got Dolores hyped up, okay? The party goes left, and next everyone is like everyone versus Jennifer. Jennifer versus the people, pretty much. So Jennifer, she is screaming at these girls, and I give it to her because it's one thing to be the villain, but when you the one that has to go against everybody all at once, like, damn, see, Jackie, this is what you got to do. You got to stand on it. So Jackie kind of gives a little support to Jennifer Aiden, which I was actually quite shocked. And I was like, okay, Jackie, if you connect yourself to her, then you're going to get to film a few more scenes. Like, Jennifer is going to keep you into a few more scenes so you could come next season, okay? I see you right through you. And, Jennifer, she feels bad about Rachel's terrible nose job, and she says it like that, and all the girls are getting upset except for Rachel. Rachel is like, this is above me, I don't give a damn. And she calls her man. She wants to leave the party. And what Rachel did do is that she clarified that she's not taking any sides, and Jennifer Aiden didn't ask her to take any sides. She was just telling her some things about these people, and she was just not with it. She's above that. So she calls her man and she said, man, we live in the party. And her man is like, you don't want to check nobody, you don't want to say anything. She's like, no, they're terrible people. Well, Jennifer is terrible, so she's not gonna do it. So she leaves the party, and I'm like, Jen, your voice did not get tired. We see the preview for the next episode, and I'm like so invested. These girls did it again. I would rate this at 8.9. I feel like it's getting better each episode. We're getting more development. I loved it. What did you guys think of the recap? What did you think of this episode? Let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. It's much appreciated. And of course, I'll be here for you guys next week to give you a recap of the following episode. Take care and spread as much kindness as possible. Take care. Bye-bye, guys.